All right, everyone, you know what this is. This is Circle Brothers Podcast with RJ.
And Eric.
Let's get it.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you know what this is. Circle Brothers Podcast with RJ.
And with Eric.
What's up, people? What's really good? What's going on? Again, as you already know, we actually, if you don't know who we are, what we're actually doing, we are actually Circle Brothers. We actually talk about everything from video games, comics, electronics, movies, TV shows, entertainment, and just about everything else we can actually think of.
Kids' boyfriends.
Yes. But we'll try to avoid that if necessary, but we'll come back to it a little bit later because we're a little bit random. So please forgive us if we're random, but then again, we really don't care. Anyway, long story short, we got a lot of things to talk about because one very special thing happened this weekend, and it has been the releasing of Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh yeah, we got a lot to
Right.
talk about.
So this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be your warning for spoilers. This whole entire episode from this point forward is going to be spoiler heavy. Spoiler heavy. So if you don't want to hear about spoilers from Spider-Man Far From Home, tune out. Catch us up with the next time, and we'll actually deal with you then with some more randomness from us. But in the meantime,
Wait. Before you go,
Yeah,
before you click away,
Yeah.
we want to say this.
We do have a special announcement.
Yes. So if we can get 50 subscribers, we will give away to a random person a $25 gift certificate to either Steam, Nintendo, Sony,
Right.
or Xbox.
Right.
There you go.
Right. So, and that's for a random subscriber, but here's the catch to it though. So there's a bit of a trick to it. One, yeah, you do have to be a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, we're not even really going to see you. So you want to subscribe to us if you're not, and this is subscribing on YouTube, subscribe to us on Spotify, subscribe to us on iTunes. We will actually be able to tell who's subscribing and who's not.
And you got to leave a comment.
Thank you. And you also have to leave a comment. And if you can at all, go ahead and share. That part we really can't tell, but we'll actually find out. Because the side note to Circle Brothers is we're kind of tech nerds, so we'll find out eventually. But the main key is we want you to go ahead and subscribe. We want you to go ahead and leave a like, which is the next thing. And we also want you to go ahead and leave a comment. And for those people who have done it already, you are already in the mix, and we do want to thank you for your likes, your shares, your subscribes, and we want you to go ahead and keep that going, because when you're rocking with Circle Brothers, you're rocking with the best. So continue to spread the love. It's the Brooklyn way, but we're not from Brooklyn, we're from Columbus.
Right. Bronx.
Yeah, Bronx. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. We'll actually announce it again towards the end for those who come a little bit later. But in the meantime, we are going to go into spoiler territory, very heavy for Spider-Man Far From Home. This is our particular special for this particular podcast. So this is pretty much all the podcast is really going to focus on. So outside of that, did you have anything before we start?
Yeah, I got a couple things.
Okay.
One, I know that I love to talk bad about Samsung. And this would be the thrice time that they've made a product, and it's just like, dude, come on, seriously. I mean, aside from the foldable phone, the Samsung Fold, Galaxy Fold, which is garbage, and the whole flop that they had with the Galaxy Tab, that if you held it in a certain way, that it would lose Wi-Fi. It's not as bad as that, but it's another product where it's just like, come on, guys. Like, did anyone in your design studio look at this product and say, yeah, go for it? So it's a new phone that has a triple lens camera that rotates for selfies. So, yeah. So it's called the Galaxy A80, and it's got the full screen. It's got the full infinity screen and everything like that. So it's really nice looking, which Samsung makes really nice looking products.
Right.
But the thing is, the back pops up, and then the lens in the back of the phone flips around. So I know you, and you're thinking to yourself, okay.
Right.
It's going to flip around, but that's a lot of moving parts,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that you don't want in a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, that's what this phone does. So this is another product where I'm like, yeah, it looks great. So if you want to take a selfie, then you got to have the part of the back of the phone pop up and have that lens flip around. And then when you're done, it has to flip back and then come down.
Why?
It's the same, dude. Samsung, man.
More trash. So, wow. Okay, so as you're saying that, the first thing that comes to mind is, it reminds me of the car shows. Remember we used to have like the car show. I think they still have them every now and then. But we have car shows that we bring out the concept cars, where the cars, good and well, this is not going to be street worthy, but you actually look at it, it's nice. It has some potential.
Right.
It's just showcasing an idea.
Right.
This is starting to make me think that now Samsung and probably other phone people are actually starting to go into the area of, well, instead of putting out something that's actually functional, why don't we just communicate an idea? That way people will start talking about it and start getting the buzz, and that way people hopefully start buying whatever it is that we put out.
If you buy this crap,
Some people just want it just because it's a novelty item, because hey, you got it first. It's exclusive. No one has something like this.
Oh, let me take my selfie so the back of the phone pops up and the screen and the thing flips around so I can take a picture just of myself. And then if I want to turn that camera around, then I have to either turn the camera physically or wait for the back of the screen to pop down and the camera to flip, because it actually flips. I'll put a link for the YouTube thing in there. Dude, when you watch it, you're going to be like, okay, that camera looks, whoa, wait. Because it literally flips. So that's a moving part that's going to break. It's going to break. It's going to break.
Of course it's going to break. And people are going to pay $1,000.
I don't think it's $1,000. I think the phone, it's mid-range phone. Oh, still expensive.
How high to 1,000 is it?
It's almost 1,000.
I told you. Because the thing is, as you're looking at that, add tax on that. That's over $1,000.
Yeah, it's $736.
$736.
Yep.
And ladies and gentlemen, I guarantee you that $736 price point is the base ground model. That's with no bells, no whistles, nothing attached to it. And I guarantee you, as they continue to add more bells and whistles to it, which they already got, I'm just pretty sure they do.
Yeah, I think it has like the amount of storage. It's just like
it's going to, in order for it to be halfway functional, it's going to be over $1,000 with the tax.
Well, having just gone through a phone situation, it's like, do you want to get your kid a phone that is going to break within like months? You know what I mean? Because my kids are rough on phones.
Yeah, I don't think this is for the ones that they're going to hand over to the kids. I guarantee you, some person with pockets will hand it over to the kids.
But that's what they were in the video, like in the...
That's what they're marketing it to?
Yeah, because in the video, I swear they're like, 15 to like 20 something maybe. And they're, not only are they like, it's a guy with a soccer ball, and he's doing all these tricks with the soccer ball, and he's bobbing his head, catching the ball, and doing all this and kicking it to his friend, and then phone flips. And then when the guy kicks the ball back to him, and then he flips the thing back up, so then he has to, it's all these sounds. And it's just like, yeah, this is great, until like that ball hits that phone and breaks it, and now your kid can't take selfies. And then you got to hear that complaint all day long. I can't take selfies, Mom. I can't take selfies.
Well,
you got your kid that phone, so.
Yeah, so the kid's going to have to do something like, get a job. So, anyway, more trash from Samsung. Wonderful.
Which, my TV's Samsung. I like it.
I mean, not all things are created equal. Not all things are trash. So, I mean, there's some exceptions,
but most of your stuff is trash.
It's like the way.
To be honest.
I mean, if we're grading on a curve, the TVs and stuff, okay, not bad. Cameras,
refrigerators and stuff.
They're trying.
A blind man can try, though. I mean,
yes. And a blind man can fall. So anyway, let me stop being stupid. Okay. So outside of that, anything else we got?
Yeah. So apparently there is some new Nintendo Switch coming out.
That's the scaled down one, right?
So it's a new. Some company had who makes all types of accessories for uh, like controllers or skins and things like that.
Yeah.
They showcased it they popped up on someone's website, and so that at least is giving people an idea that this is not just a fluke. That there is a Nintendo Switch Mini or Nintendo Switch 2. Who knows what they're calling it?
Okay.
And no one knows any information about it other than the fact that this manufacturer had come up with it looks like a sleeve for it for the Nintendo, and I think it was called the Nintendo Switch 2 Mini, and and they make products for Xbox. They make stuff for Sony, so they're not some weird Chinese manufacturer that's making knockoff crap.
Right.
It's an actual company that makes these products.
Okay.
So apparently it's coming soon. Now, no one knows any details about, is it a new processor that's in there? Because the Nintendo Switch has Tegra X1. So is this a Tegra X2? Is the screen 1080p? Another thing that they were talking about, the Joy-Cons won't be able to slide off. So, which is all fine and dandy. I wouldn't care. But I hardly take my Switch out of the dock anyway.
So I'm kind of curious about that though. So if the Joy-Cons don't actually slip off and they actually stay on, curious question: what are the sales doing for the DS? And are they still releasing DS, or
No,
they stopped production on that?
They ended life of the DS, so they're not going to produce anymore.
And I think this is actually going to be the replacement.
So no, I think this is a dedicated handheld device that will replace the 3DS, and no one knows if you can dock it or not. So that's the main thing now. If it's got a better processor and it's got the screen has been updated, because I think currently the Switch's screen is 720p, which is not bad. I mean, but like I said, I don't take mine off the dock very often. I mean, unless my kids are here and my son's taking over my television,
right?
And I want to play video games,
right?
Other than that, or if I'm on a plane or a toilet.
Now, what I'm curious about too is that will they actually have some type of Bluetooth or some other connection that recognizes other switches?
They're still in there. So if you're around other people that have a Switch, it does LAN. So you can have a local area network and still play games. So I don't think that'll change. I think you'll still be able to play old Switch or original Switch with the new ones, but. Again, who knows what Nintendo's doing?
Right, because that's what I'm kind of curious about too. Okay, well, say I'm out and about and I actually have we'll say Breath of the Wild on my Switch, the handheld one, the new one, and I go to your house and I take out the Zelda cartridge and I actually start to play Cuphead with you on your Switch, but your Switch is actually docked. Should it be able to still recognize my newer Switch and just play it like an extra controller, so that way I don't have to swap controllers or pick up a Joy-Con? I can actually use my new Switch as a kind of an additional gamepad to the actual console.
That's a good question.
That's what I'm curious about, because that really would just be another Bluetooth connection. Just connect the Bluetooth from the new handheld over to your docking station over to your Switch.
If they did that, that would be dope. Because then I would get one just for the simple fact that it's another controller, and then if I'm on the go, then just take the games with me.
Right. So that way I can still play the games I want to, and if I'm over a friend's house that already has the original Switch, I can go ahead, take my game out of my Switch, and just Bluetooth connect into yours.
That's dope. I hope Nintendo.
Or you don't even have to remove the game. It'll just come up with an option hey, I see Eric's Switch here. Do you want to connect? Yes. Doop. It's hey, new controller.
Hey, Nintendo, are you listening to this? This is a really good idea.
See, okay. Enough of the freebies. We ain't giving out freebies.
Man. Well, no, Nintendo, we want your freebies.
Oh, yes. If you like.
And Sony and Microsoft, we're not, we're agnostic in that regard.
Yes,
I don't really care.
We are Switzerland. We take all comers, so that way we can go ahead and play all the games, and let us know if we actually are acceptable to your presence, and we will go ahead and play the games, and we will say nice things about you. Anywho, let's see what else you got on your side.
No, I just want to talk about Spider-Man.
Okay, so as I was saying before I got started, I was telling you this is Spider-Man Far From Home. This is a special episode. We're going to spider heavy. We're going to spoiler heavy. Spoiler heavy about Spider-Man. So you want to exit now. I mentioned it before. I didn't know Eric had stuff, so we actually got that out the way. Now we're actually going to go into Spider-Man heavy. So if you want to take a quick break real quick, we'll go ahead and take a quick break real quick. We'll count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Anyway, Spider-Man Far From Home. Oh, man.
Lot to unpack.
Yes, there's a lot to unpack here. So before I actually go into my stuff, I'm going to let you go into your stuff first. What things did you like? Because you actually did see it first. So what did you think about it?
I thought it was really good. I thought that the pacing of the movie was pretty good.
Yeah,
no, it's just so much to Okay, so as we're sitting there watching this movie, and my daughter Rebecca turns to me and she was like, "Do you think Mysterio is really like a good guy?" And I'm like, "No, he's not." She's like, "But are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm positive. This is like all a ruse." And then she's like, "But I think he might be a good guy." And I'm like, "No, he's not."
Stop looking at the handsome face.
Right. And then Elijah turns to me and is like, "Dad, what do you think?" Like, dude, shut up, first of all. Secondly, like this is like, it's not what you think. Like, seriously, he is not a good guy. And then when they were in the bar and they did what they did, I was like, this harkens back to the comic book when they were in the funhouse,
right,
at the amusement park. I'm like, they took those elements and they ran with it. And I thought that was really good. I thought from the beginning something was off with Nick Fury. And I think that when they called him Nick Fury and he didn't say anything, I was like, wait a second. The first time I was like, all right, this is the first time he's met Spider-Man,
right,
and so he doesn't know that he doesn't like to be called Nick Fury. And it's like, he's calling him Nick Fury and he's not getting upset. It's like, all right. I'm not going to say nothing. Just keep it to myself. And then at the end, when they showed that post-credit scene, it was Talos. And I was like, I knew it. I called it. Because I knew there was something wrong with the fact that they kept calling him Nick Fury. They never just called him Fury. They just called him Nick Fury.
Yeah.
And I was not all right with that, especially since we just got done watching Captain Marvel just a couple days before, because Rebecca, Tally, and Elijah hadn't seen it.
Right.
So they wanted to watch it. And I was like, all right, well, let's watch it. And so we all watched it. And they were like, oh, so they finally got the backstory of like what happened to Nick Fury, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So that was still fresh on their minds. And they kind of caught that, but weren't sure that that's really what that was.
Right.
I thought that they did a really good job with keeping characters in the story. Like the whole thing with Edith, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
That even dead, I'm the hero. Like
that's Tony.
That was awesome. I mean, how can you? I mean, that's just paying homage to how much of a narcissist Tony Stark really was, and the fact that he was not the hero that everyone made him out to be.
Right.
That he still was unsure of himself.
Right.
And so, and then there was another thing that they had kind of, I can't remember where it was in the movie or where it was said. It was either when they were looking at the videos, or it was something that Happy said to Peter, but they brought up Ironheart, and I was like, ooh. This is a good Easter egg, because just before we saw the movie, we were talking about how Robert Downey Jr. And I think Tom Holland both had mentioned Riri Williams, and that Marvel needed to make her Iron Man.
Okay.
And it's like, it's not by coincidence that you got RDJ saying that and Tom Holland both mentioning Ironheart, and you don't get an endorsement like that from the person who previously played Iron Man.
Right.
So that wasn't just coincidence. And I'm assuming that when they do the new Young Avengers, that they're probably going to have Riri in there, Kamala Khan for Miss Marvel,
right?
Maybe Hawkeye's daughter's in there, I would imagine, and probably Ant-Man's daughter. So I would imagine they'll have at least those characters in there.
Right.
Probably some more dudes, because you don't want a totally all-girl Avengers team. That, I mean, which would be awesome, but not.
Right.
You gotta have some other characters in there too.
Right.
I'm not sexist. I have daughters. And so, but I thought that was really good. I thought the different suits that he made was like the Steve Ditko suit was awesome.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you've seen it, but in the Spider-Man PS4 game, like they put the Spider-Man Far From Home suits in the game, and I'll show you. And we can show everybody if you don't mind. And I'm actually playing with the Steve Ditko suit, so it's really cool. And they have like. Not to spoil the game, but like the original Spider-Man Noir costume is in there. Kind of different from what was in Into the Spider-Verse. So they have that one, but then they have the more stealth Spider-Man suit.
The all black one?
Yeah, the one from the movie is in there too. So you get to play with either one of those.
Night Monkey!
Yeah, Night Monkey. So I think the end, though, is what really got me. Is... One, they showed Sword.
That was dope.
So when they did that,
yeah,
I was like, all right, so now Sword is a thing, which most people, I don't know if everyone's aware of what Sword is, but
we talked a little bit about it last episode.
Yeah, and I think that we were saying, like, were they going to show something with Sword in that?
Right.
And then also the fact that the Skrulls are more permanently in the current universe, like they're a part of the current continuity, and not just going back to the 90s.
Yeah,
I think that this changes the dynamic of what happens to in Black Widow's movie. I'm still gonna hold on to the fact that I think she's a Skrull. I think she is, but
so weird.
I know it's weird, but I wonder. Now that they're kind of blending the cosmic, is Nick Fury going to be more cosmic than anything? And I don't know. So
it makes sense.
Yeah, what did you think?
I actually liked it. I actually thought it was pretty dope. One of the things I was actually kind of curious about. Well, I run across things that I didn't like that I thought were odd. I'll actually start there. Ned was being really weird. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the awkward teen thing that they were trying to communicate, and that's actually fine. If you're going to communicate something like that, yeah, I guess it does need to be communicated. You have a whole bunch of teens there and not a lot of teen interaction, so I guess you can kind of use it as filler in between time to kind of make it seem like there's other things going on outside of the main story. Perfectly fine, perfectly legit. I'll rock with that. The next thing I thought was kind of weird was the and I actually thought was funny that the kids, when they actually did the montage video at the very beginning,
that was hilarious. When they had the completely pixelated picture, and then the GIF that was that had the shutter stuff. Perfect. That was that I enjoyed that. And I think that I got my kicks out of that, because it's like that's something kids would do.
Yeah, it's just kids, and the contrast between the girl, I forgot her name, but she was so like serious into it, and the other dude was like, yeah, man. It's like, dude, like we're on camera. It's like, so.
I had to bleep him out more than once.
Right.
But I think the other thing about what they call the blip. Yeah. I'm still gonna call it dusting. I think it's better when saying that people got dusted. Just because it's funnier. Did you hear they got blipped?
Got blipped.
Yeah, that doesn't sound as cool. But
got dusted, son.
See, that is exactly why dusted sounds so much better. But the fact that like they still had Captain America in there, so I'm like,
yeah, because they thought he died.
Yeah,
Well, because they don't know all the Peggy Carter and all that. They just assume he died, which is just as well because he don't want nobody know when he's alive anyway.
Exactly.
So anyway,
which he didn't die at the end of the movie. He just was an old man.
Yeah, because it's going to take a really long time for Steve to die, and Steve's like, "Nah, I'll just sit in the background. Y'all guys got this."
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that I actually liked. One of the other things that I actually liked too, Mysterio's suit. They pulled it off really well. I actually was very pleased with that and how they actually did it.
The one scene where she was like, "You have to make sure it's steam."
It's like, I'm going to be shaking hands with the queen. I need that steam. I'm literally going to be shaking hands with the queen. It's like, everything is going chaotic. It's like, it's going backwards. It's like, he sounds like, go ahead, just deal with it. It's like, are we still needing the cape? It's like,
yes.
He paused for me. It's like, yes, we still need the cape.
I have that cape steam. I don't know about anything else, but
right. So, and he actually did a really good job. That was Jake Gyllenhaal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he actually did a real good job. It reminded me of Justin Hammer, the guy that played Justin Hammer on Iron. I forgot what was his name again. Oh shoot, I forgot his name. If you're in the comments, let me know what his name.
No, I can tell you right now.
Justin Hammer. I forgot because that was the one where the main villain, that was Iron Man 2, and I believe it was Whip.
Sam Rockwell.
There we go. Sam Rockwell. Mr. Sam.
Here's a funny thing. I didn't look it up. I didn't look up Justin Hammer. You know what I looked up? The other movie that he did, Moon.
Oh,
Nah, Moon was good though, dude. Like Moon was really good. Sorry.
Oh, that's funny. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So that was actually pretty dope as far as the suit and also the portrayal of the illusions and everything like that, and actually all the tie-ins to Tony.
Mm-hmm.
All the tie-ins to Tony, and as far as the whole Mysterio team has basically just been a dumping ground for all the people that Tony done pissed off and cut off. So that
did you catch who the one guy was?
Which one?
The bald guy who was
that's Rob. That's from
A Christmas Story. No, that was Ralphie.
That was Ralphie
from A Christmas Story. Like I was like, wait a second, that's Ralph. Because okay, so I don't know if you know the story about him and John Favreau.
No.
But the guy who played Ralphie.
Yeah.
Like he's been friends with John Favreau for the longest. Yeah. And so he had an apartment. It was him, John Favreau, and some other guy. And then what's the other guy that does movies with John Favreau? That was in Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He always plays himself. He was also in Dodgeball.
Is he the guy that was in the wheelchair?
No. That's Rip Torn.
If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Oh,
that's
man.
still a funny movie.
Vince Vaughn.
Vince
Vaughn used to crash on their couch because he was like their drifter friend who was like a loser, basically. So I just find that odd that like
that's funny.
He's in all of their movies because he was different.
So, the way that the barf technology, I like that twist with that one. It's like how he actually morphed everything together with the visuals and all that. And he was actually the one that was in charge of it. And that was pretty dope. He was like, yeah, I've been here the whole time. And I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, okay, I see what they're doing. I was like, this is pretty dope. So I'm like, yeah, so that part actually, especially such a deep callback too for Riva with getting yelled at by what was his name from Iron Man 1?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Obadiah Stane.
Yeah.
So Stane was getting in. He was like,
because
he was trying to
get this in a cave.
Right. He's like trying to get him to rebuild the ark. It's like, well, I'm not as smart as Tony. He's like, Tony built this in a cave with scraps. He was like, I just want you to do the same thing but smaller. So, but anyway, so that was actually pretty cool to see those particular tie-ins. And one of the things I actually like too is towards the end of the movie, because there's a lot of things that actually happen in the movie that have the what was it? The storyline with MJ and whatnot, as far as the love story with them too. I'm glad they're actually taking that approach too, and they're actually trying to like ditch it or sidestep it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll actually do is for that, I'm like, I appreciate what they're doing with that. I don't know where it's actually going to go because he's only got like one more movie left with that.
Right, that's the only thing he has left in
and
his
that's
contract.
supposed to be like the graduation part of it, where he's supposed to like graduate high school. I think this year is just a junior year that he's supposed to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay. So I'm curious to see where all the other villains are actually going to go and what they're actually going to do. Which actually leads me to a couple of different things that's actually going on with it. But before I get into all that, I do want to do a special shout out. J.K. freaking Simmons, man. J. Jonah Jameson.
That was dope.
Like,
that had me.
Yes.
That had
everyone in the theater was clapping when they saw it. It was like, yes.
So here's the thing with having him in there. Since he exists between two different timelines, there are two different Spider-Man story arcs.
Yes.
Does that mean that other Spider-Man exists somewhere else? Because there's been talk about them doing a live-action Into the Spider-Verse, where they're going to have
like all the
so
like
Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire.
Right.
And with J. Jonah Jameson being in there, they're going to connect all these different universes, which is going to be sweet.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty dope. But that's if Sony pulls the trigger on it.
Do you think Sony's going to let go of all the money that they will get?
All the money.
So think about it. When Sony wouldn't play ball with Marvel, they stopped making Spider-Man toys. Right. They stopped licensing Spider-Man out to Lego. They stopped licensing him out for T-shirts and all that. So whenever they have a movie, Sony gets a good majority of the money. But then Marvel still gets all the money from all the licensing that they get from all the T-shirts and all the merchandising. Right. And so I think Sony's going to see this as a win-win, basically. Like, well, we still get money from these movies, and people will go see it because it earned $36 million in the first couple days.
Right. So I think they'll actually play ball because no one's going to fight the mouse. So because the mouse is very, very Tony Soprano with it as far as the Marvel properties. So it's like you got two ways, This is a protection racket. We'll protect your properties. You can still own it. You can still own a piece of it. We'll get the majority of it. We'll go ahead and let you have a little piece. Let you get your beak wet. And it'd be a shame if you happen to go out here. It's violence on the streets. Something could happen to your properties. You can still own it. Just no movie theaters will carry it. You don't have any merchandising. You don't have anything.
580 million globally in the first 10 days.
So it pays to work with the mouse instead of working against the mouse, because the mouse is still in control of Marvel. He is heavy-handed when it comes to his properties and even joint ventures. So respect the mouse. Cheese, call me cheese.
But I thought that by having that and whatever they're trying to do with having Mysterio spoil who Spider-Man is. Right. So it's like, what the heck? Because it's happened before in another movie, in comic books, and in the second Spider-Man movie arc with Tobey Maguire, where he took off his mask and the public got to see who he was, and then they all carried him across. So I wonder, are they going to? Obviously, they're not going to tease a Civil War 2, yet. And he showed his face during the first Civil War. Right. So they already had that movie arc. Right. So I wonder what they're going to do with this one.
Right. Now this one splits into two different aspects. The first one it reminded me of where it's like Daredevil, because when Daredevil in the comic books, where Kingpin actually found out who Daredevil was, Matt Murdock, and he eventually, slowly but surely, he basically put him out in blast and said, Daredevil is this person, and he's been doing X, Y, Z, like the same exact type of frame up, almost identical to the movies. Yeah. To the Spider-Man movie that Far From Home. So it's almost identical as far as that particular.
But then he started going after his mom. After Maggie, so that was like, oof.
Right. So I'm starting to feel that may be a major play. I don't think it's going to be the Mary Jane thing as of yet. Like I said, that's still a slowly developing relationship. It may pick up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to. I put it like this: they still have the option. It's like I said before. It's either since they didn't get it in this movie, they may get it in the next movie where somebody major is going to actually get either really hurt or they're going to actually die. And I think it either is going to be Aunt May or it's going to be Mary Jane. Either one will actually mess with Peter tremendously because as Spider-Man always he tries to keep upbeat, but something bad always happens to him that makes him like rethink everything. The death from Tony actually kind of serves as the movie portion of it because he was trying to deal with that like in this one.
Right.
But if he actually now that he's actually his identity's been revealed, now he's like, holy crap. So now he really does have to worry about Aunt May because he's still living with her.
Well, and then also at the end of the first one in Homecoming, the guy who's I think it's Scorpion's character, the guy who played Scorpion, was trying to figure out because he knew Vulture knew who Spider-Man was.
I still like that. Vulture was the thug. He's like, yeah, you're not getting that from me. I stabbed you first.
Now it's out there, so everybody's gonna know who he is. So I think that they're gonna do a Sinister Six movie, which I think that would be great. And I think that Mysterio's not dead. Because he didn't. That whole scene where Mysterio was laying there, and he just looked down at Quentin, was like, Edith, and then it was like, is
this real?
And then like she's like, yeah. So that could have gone two different ways.
Right.
He's thinking is he in an illusion with Quentin Beck, or is everything else that's going on, or is he dead? So there's one of the three possibilities.
Right.
I don't think he's dead. I think that he's still alive because no one's really dead unless like they actually die.
My thoughts on Quentin Beck dying. I believe. Well, here's the key question too. What actually happened at the end of Quentin Beck, Spider-Man beating him? Did he actually die? Because I can't remember that part for whatever reason.
I think he tried to shoot Spider-Man.
Yeah, he tried to shoot Spider-Man.
And that was an illusion.
Right.
And then we didn't really see.
I thought the bullets in Quentin, and he was laying on the ground, was the illusion, and the real one was
hidden.
Was like him like pointing the gun at Spider-Man, or was that the illusion?
Well, no, the illusion was he was watching him on the ground, and then he realized that wasn't real. He turned and he fired he shot his he shot Webb at him, but I don't see what hit him. I don't really remember what hit him.
Right.
So something hit him though, but I don't think it was a bullet.
Right. I think he actually hit him. Probably knocked him out. I would imagine. Because if he's that close, it's like he said, he's like, if his illusions are down, I could beat him.
Right.
So yeah. And then I think he knocked him out, and then I think that's when he asked Edith again, like, is this real? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. So now it's making sense. Now I'm actually talking about it out loud. Okay. So other parts of it. So if he is, because he's not dead.
Right.
Rob, the partner, took the thumb drive with all the information on it.
Right.
I have a few things about that, but one of the things I actually want to talk about before I get into that, because that actually leads to a whole nother can of worms. So I'm gonna put a pin in that for a moment. I want to talk about the Nick Fury one. Yeah, I recognize Nick was acting really strange throughout the entire movie. I'm like, this doesn't feel like Nick for some reason. It just feels really weird and really forced. It feels forced.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Right. So I was like, now kudos to Sam Jackson for pulling that off, because he could have went and just did like the regular what's the name, but he knew that he was supposed to be Sam Jackson, but to be just a little bit off. So that's the part I was like, okay, I'm glad. Kudos to Sam Jackson for playing that role. That was really awesome. Let's see.
So when did he? So that's my thing. When was it Talos and when was it Fury? That's the key.
From, I would imagine something happened after the events of Tony passing.
Okay.
So I was.
So you think the whole movie was I just wanted to make sure.
Spider-Man Far From.
Yeah, the whole Far From Home.
I imagine it was the entire thing, and whatever happened with Nick getting off into the Swords space station or spaceship, that happened off camera before the movie started.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure we're in agreement that that's how that was.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I hear.
Right, and I believe how that happened will probably come in with the next Captain Marvel movie, which is what I'm thinking. Now,
makes sense.
Now, I was doing a little bit of digging last night, and there is a theory that is floating around that says the following: there is still a possibility of secret invasion actually happening.
Yeah.
But it's in reverse. Instead of the Skrulls, because the Skrulls are being portrayed as good guys. But here's the theory though. The theory is that the secret invasion isn't from the Skrulls, it's from the Kree, which is the reason why he actually said something about there's Kree sleeper cells. When he was Sam Jackson at the beginning, he was like, you mentioned it was Telos really.
Mm-hmm.
He was telling his wife was like, yeah, I know that there's still Kree sleeper cells still around. So if there's still, and keep in mind, the Kree, there's two races of them. There's the blue and then there's the pink Kree. But
right.
The pink Kree look an awful lot like
humans. Well, that was because what's her face was a pink Kree who gave who had the ship in Captain Marvel. Okay.
Right.
All right.
So that's how they're. So that's what, like, if they're going in that direction, and I think they are, or else they wouldn't have laid that little breadcrumb for us to actually pick up. I think they are going to attempt to try to do Secret Invasion, which is going to be a part of the Captain Marvel one. Now, depending on how big they want to go with it, that's really up to them. So, as far as like an overarching storyline that crosses over multiple movies, like the Thanos one.
Okay, so then are they going to just forego Super Skrulls in general? Because Super Skrulls can mimic the powers of the person that they're copying? Now, I get the whole thing with the Kree, with the pink Kree. I'm right there with you. But
I don't think Super Skrulls will actually come into play unless they play Fantastic Four, because you have to play that card to connect it.
Ooh, okay.
And nobody said nothing about Fantastic Four yet. So.
Well, we don't know where they are. So it could be that they existed during the previous timeline.
And they're still
off-world.
Off-world, yeah. Or they could still be there. It's just that they're secretive anyway, and they don't actually really come out or say or do anything. Or they haven't did the origin change yet.
I don't think they're gonna do the origin story.
Well, I mean, yeah, they'll probably do it like Peter, like they'll skip the origin, like the Uncle Ben dying and all this stuff. They skip that part, and I think they may actually skip it for Fantastic Four. Cause
I hope so.
Right, if you can do some tiny callbacks to it, which is fine, but. Like I said, keep the storyline the way you actually need to have it, so that way you can go ahead and let the movie progress.
So do you think that they'll introduce Doom first, then do Fantastic Four?
They're going to do Fantastic Four first, and then maybe introduce Doom. Because, I mean, Doom is an overshadowing character. I don't think they'll actually do Doom first. I don't really see it, because I don't really see Doom actually coming into play anywhere. But that's actually could be used as a wild card too, since you can't really see him being played anywhere. Right. He could basically be introduced anywhere, because once you introduce Doom, everybody's like, oh, okay, here comes Fantastic Four.
Right, because you have to. As soon as you show him, you have to show Fantastic Four.
But it really depends on how they want to play it. Do you want to play Fantastic Four first, or do you want to play Doom? My money says, don't do the entire Fantastic Four. Just do have Reed show up somewhere.
Yeah.
Then go ahead and slowly roll out everyone else, and then go into.
That's what I think.
Trying to solve a problem, and as they try to solve a problem, here comes Doom.
So in Captain Marvel 2, since she's going to remain pretty cosmic, Fantastic Four will be that bridge between the Earthbound heroes and the cosmic. Okay, all right, I'm there with you. I think that's the best bridge. I also think that's the best bridge for them to introduce X-Men. Well, no, I take that back. I think the best bridge for them to start to introduce X-Men is Black Panther 2. And the best way that they do that is a post-credit screen or an end-credit scene where T'Challa meets another Aurora Monroe.
Oh yeah, that'll bring in the X-Men.
Yes.
Yes.
So you can just say he's getting a call from from some African princess, or say we can call her princess. I don't even care.
Right.
But just say, hey, I've seen your exploits, and
right.
I'm curious. Like,
right.
I want to meet you.
Right.
And then he just accepts a call from Aurora Monroe. You don't have to show her.
Mm-hmm.
You can just even have someone come off screen and say, hey, got a phone call from you from Aurora. I guess she wants to talk again.
Right.
Boom. Now you don't even have to say the last name. Right. Just Aurora wants to talk to you again.
Well, now he's an elder. Well, since he's actually king, he's still doing elder statesman stuff, like going around the different countries and humans and other things like that. Aurora could actually show up too, in the same thing.
So I'm down for whatever.
So yeah. So anyway, back to Spider-Man Far From
Sorry.
So no. This is fine. Let's see. The other thing I did like the suit, the actual 3D printing suit that was actually on the ship. That was awesome. And I hope they have more scenes like that too, because he actually looked a lot like Tony doing that. And I know that was on purpose too, especially with the Led Zeppelin.
Well, I think that they were trying to, because there needs to be another Tony Stark.
Right. Show me everything, Spider-Man. Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, and then but I don't think he's going to be the next Iron Man though.
Of course not. They just wanted to have that slight nod off, which is perfectly fine. The glasses was dope too. The back door to literally everything Tony has. That's a lot of power. So now I'm curious, what are they actually going to do with that in the near future? I don't know, and that is something that I hope they don't leave that as a MacGuffin that just gets dropped off. I hope it's something that actually leads into something bigger. That's what I'm hoping for. So anyway, the next thing I wanted to get into, going back to let's see, I'm trying to think. Oh, the other avenue for the secret invasion thing we were talking about. If they don't want to do secret invasion, and they actually want to change, because remember, we're still talking about the sleeper cells of the Kree.
Mm-hmm. They
could always introduce Eternals that way, because Eternals are actually experiment from the Kree, wasn't it?
I know the Eternals are older than everybody.
Oh yeah.
Remember Nowhere, the one head that was one of the
celestial experiments.
Yes,
that's what it was.
Yes.
Okay, so take that back. Take that off the table. But it's still pretty cool though. Anyway, I'm actually going to go into the big version.
Well, before you do that, but that means if they're going to do the Eternals, that means they're going to introduce Thanos again, because it's going to be like a backstory for them. And he...
Oh, yeah, they could always bring him back. Yeah, because, just to kind of cover the story, because he actually is a part of that story, if they wanted to go in that direction, or if they want to write around it, if he says
I hope they do.
Right, so, going back to the big version of Riva. Riva is the other guy, the one that was working with Mysterio, the one that actually was trying to work with the core reactor, Tony's the original reactor. He was trying to mimic it, and that was actually back in Iron Man 1. So he was actually still there. He actually took the thumb drive when Mysterio was actually getting beat up and he was getting beat. He already got defeated. He already took the thumb drive.
With all the data.
Right, with all the data. So I think he's the one, instead of Mysterio, I think he was the one that actually put that video out with all the edited stuff from the drones and stuff.
Send it to J. Jonah Jameson.
Send it to J. Jonah Jameson, let him go ahead and put it out there. That's one thing. The other thing that led me to think about this, and I think I actually found this a little bit too, there was actually an article that actually was from CBR.com. Let me go ahead and read this one a bit, because it's story time when it's always with RJ. So anyway, the article actually states in the following, and I'll actually have this link in the description below if you want to take a closer look, but this section is actually towards the bottom of the article. It says that there's a chance that Riva could prove to be even more dangerous down the line. Riva had access to the Stark drone Legion, which was not destroyed or decommissioned by the end of the film. Remember, they floated up into space, or floated back to the satellites. The data he uploaded might still give him some degree of power over that force, which the stuff that's on that thumb drive. If so, he could use it again down the line to attack any city at whim. He also has experience with working with Beck's hologram technology, barf. That's still funny. And has at least an understanding of how Tony Stark's arc reactor technology operates. the next piece of it says, "This is the beginning. This is beginning to sound less like a random scientist from the background of the MCU and more like a genuine supervillain in the making. He could even potentially team up with someone in the future and help them become an even bigger threat. Far From Home may have subtly turned an otherwise forgotten figure from history of the franchise into one of its most dangerous minds." Now, here's the thing. That got me thinking. And let's see. Granted, based on the article, we have Riva's previous history with Tony's original arc reactor. That's from Iron Man 1. Current experience with Tony's drone legion now, which is massive.
Right.
And Mysterio's barf illusion technology, right? Okay. All the right components to build the following things: a new power suit. That's one, because we've seen it with Mysterio and all the other stuff. So.
Right.
An attack glider, because as you saw with when Spider-Man was fighting the drones, he was literally swinging from swinging from drone to drone,
right.
And he was actually riding on top of them.
Right.
So that means they're big enough to fly on like a glider.
Yep.
And they had guns attached to the front of them and
Yep.
lasers.
Yep.
In the next weapon, a modified version of the illusion weapon. In other words, all the visuals and stuff.
Right.
The first thing I thought of, the smoke monster.
Okay.
Smoke monster, and the reason why I'm harnessing on smoke monster is this. And also mentioned too that it's if you take all those things, the new power suit, an attack glider, and also the ability to use barf technology to create illusions like smoke monsters, smoke, fire, electricity, and all the other stuff. All these things are the perfect outfit for the Green Goblin.
Yep.
Which is Norman Osborn.
And they kind of showed. Okay.
Yep. So yeah. So with all those things combined, Norman Osborn, and when Spider-Man was swinging through towards the end of the movie, there was a big complex that he was actually swinging through. In that place that he was swinging through, because you'll notice it if you watch the movie, it's actually got a lot of greenery. It's like all the apartments and buildings and stuff in the city, and there's one that actually has a whole bunch of like greenery and stuff on top of it, and it's almost like an arch. And
no, it's a cutout, yeah, because that's in the game too.
Right, he actually swung right through it. That's Norman Osborn's place. So he actually swung right through it, and I believe that was also intentional too. So that's the part that got me thinking. I was like, because really, with this guy, with Rav, since he has with a lot of scientists, they have all the knowledge and they have the understanding of how to work with the technology. They need a financial backer. They always need a financial backer. Yeah. And the financial backer for most things that are actually going down in the MCU, it's either the following. It's either Dr. Doom, which is not going to be Doom. It's going to be Norman Osborn, because they kept saying the whole entire time throughout the entire movie, they need a Tony replacement, which actually introduces the stage really for Norman Osborn, because he can actually step into that role, and he could even go as far as doing the Dark Reign storyline if they want to go that far into it, which I don't.
Oh no! They'll do Dark Avengers. They'll do Dark Avengers because yes, that would make so much sense to do a Dark Avengers movie.
Right. So these are particular things. I'm pretty sure if they're smart, they would actually go ahead and head in that direction. So Riva can actually partner with Norman Osborn and go ahead and get things done from there, because you have your attack gliders, which they can actually build. The Green Goblin is a master of like the smoke and the bombs and other stuff like that, and also the arc reactor technology can also power his suit. So that all those things are the definite mechanics that you can actually build to help Norman Osborn. So that's what I'm thinking. And that's the big thing that actually got my brain like, yes, Norman Osborn, bring it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But who's going to play Norman Osborn?
That is the question. No, it's not going to be Keanu Reeves. So
No, but I really wonder
no.
who's going to play him, though.
No, that is a curious question. Let's see. I don't. You know what? I don't really know of anyone that thought I should play for him. I do know that Marvel is trying to grab a whole bunch of A-list celebrities to try to pull stuff because I think they're trying to do that for Eternals too, which I think they're trying to get Keanu Reeves on that too. So, and I think they're trying to get Angelina Jolie on that too for Eternals.
Oh, dude, this is just too much.
Yeah. So, all in all, Spider-Man: Far From Home is actually pretty dope. We try to leave some things in there for you guys to actually latch on to. So we won't actually go so far into it, but we covered pretty much about 80% in the movie. Well, at least most of the main beats anyway. So outside of that, it had, of course, a lot of little sprinkles of our version of what we think may happen.
One more thing.
One more thing.
So at the beginning of the movie, I don't know if you caught this,
Yeah.
when they were doing their school's like little TV show,
Yeah.
when she was talking about like this phase is over as we all move to the next phase.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's phase 4. This is what they're trying to get everyone ready for phase 4.
That's dope. That's dope.
But I don't think they're going to do phases the way they did the first 3. I think that was an experiment, and I think that they got out of that what they want, and they're not going to try to recreate that. I think with the next phases, it's going to be mini arcs, mini story arcs that jump over to an overarching theme.
Right.
Kind of like how they did everything move towards Infinity War, where it was like they had the Infinity Stones present in all the movies. Now, we knew what they were talking about,
Right.
But people who weren't into the comic books can watch like, oh, hey, I remember that from another movie that I saw. But if you didn't catch them all, you can still watch the movie and be like, oh,
just enjoy it as a standalone.
Exactly.
And if you're looking really close, you can see the thread that connects the.
And I think that's what they're going to do with these next set of movies, where they're going to, the way they introduce stuff, because now they have way too big a sandbox to play with.
Right.
And I wonder if they're going to skewer the world of, with 3 different types of movies, where you have the cosmic ones, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain Marvel.
Right.
You have the Earth-based ones, where you have the Spider-Mans, however they continue with Spider-Man, and the other characters that are present on Earth, but then / mutant movies, because you can't do the mutant movies along with everything else, because they are the bridge between cosmic and Earth. They are the exact bridge, because you can't do X-Men without having Lalandra and the race of aliens. I forget.
Shi'ar.
Yeah, the Shi'ar. Because you have to do the whole Shi'ar thing, because that's how Professor X gets Cerebro.
Didn't they fight the Kree too?
Yes.
And
the Nova.
Yeah, well, hey, they fight everybody.
Everyone fought everyone. I mean, this is how it was. But and then you have, just like how they're introducing that some of the Kree there are some good Kree. Like Marvel, they made Marvel a woman, but Marvel was a good Kree, and then they have good Skrulls, but they'll have bad Skrulls, and I think that Secret Invasion is going to be a balance between the bad Kree, the pink ones, and the bad Skrulls, and including a Super Skrull, and all of that comes to Earth, and there's more aliens. And I think that's when you'll find out that someone was not who we think they are. I think. I don't know. I mean, who knows how they're going to play that out.
Right.
But to me, that seems like the most fitting.
Yeah. So with that one, all in all, it's actually very dope. Everything actually comes out to be a very entertaining movie for Spider-Man: Far From Home. If you haven't had a chance to see it, then why on God's green earth are you actually listening to this podcast?
I mean, listen to the podcast, but go see the movie.
Right. I mean, see the movie first, but if you've already been this far, we already spoiled about 80% of it. But hey, you've been more. Yeah, it is what it spoilers. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and put this podcast to bed. We're going to put it to a close. And again, we just want to thank everybody for liking and subscribing and basically joining us here at Circle Brothers. Again, my name is RJ.
And this is Eric.
And we are Circle Brothers. Thank you, everyone, for your likes and subscribes. Go ahead and leave comments. Let us know what you think about this podcast below. And we'll holler at you later, everybody.
Peace.